day.
I think I had a conversation with you before, did I not?
Yeah. I spoke to you and your other brother. I don't remember his name though.
Okay.
That was a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago.
How did that conversation go?
I won.
You know, no Muslim has ever won.
I'm just being honest. I'm gonna tell you how I won.
Talk to
Tell
me.
you how I won.
Talk to me.
I was able to prove that God does not need sacrifices to forgive sins. And I was also able to quote I think Ezekiel 4:27.
Giannis?
Let
me help you.
Man was forgiven without sacrifices.
God forgave in the Old Testament. You do know that, right?
Yeah, but no sacrifice without sacrifice.
No. Okay, no. See, that's the difference. You're mixing up forgiveness and atonement. The Bible says, without the shedding of blood, there's no remission for sin. God could forgive.
That's what Paul says.
No, listen. God could forgive, but he couldn't remit. That's why the Bible says in the Old Testament, all were guilty under sin. For the law was like a mirror that left every single person guilty under sin. That's why the Bible says there's none righteous, no, not one. Just because God forgave doesn't mean they were atoned for. All the prophets in the Old Testament, even those who served God, went to Sheol, went to a place called paradise. They never went into heaven because their sin had not yet been atoned for. That's why when Jesus died, the atonement was for everyone, including those in the Old Testament in whom he shed his blood for. That's why the Bible says even after his crucifixion, he went into Sheol for 3 days preaching the gospel, leading captivity captive, meaning even those who died in the Old Testament were taken captive. And the Bible says he went into Sheol, he took the keys to death, hell, and the grave, leading captivity captive and giving gifts to men. It wasn't until the atonement of Jesus Christ that his blood can cleanse a person of all sin so that they can actually get to the Father.